You know, I know Eric could probably, he'll just start getting all juicy in the lips, you know what I mean? So I just said, you know what, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I gotta let this one, we gotta roll with this one. I'll wait for, hopefully we get a couple people jump in here, say hello, just make sure everything's working appropriately. Let me turn the old camera around. Of course, we got the old slide. I'm gonna throw this thing in real quick, but there is a genie. There's a genie something in there. That's the old school opener, pretty slick, if I may say so. So we're here, we're live. I see we got 0. I told Eric I was trying to, anyways, on the chat, say, hey man, I'm gonna start another live just for you. All right, here we go. So if anybody can obviously let me know that we're golden. Oh no, Rich is saying it's looping. Is this live looping? It's that stinking 5G. Oh no. Oh no. God darn it. Not good, man. Not good. All right. Oh, Sky says it sounds great. What's up, Sky? It's all good. You can hear it. It's not looping or anything. Because there was an opener in there. I wanted to check out. Eric wanted to see it. I think I'm going in. I'm going to wait for Sky. Sky, you let me know. I'll just say, man, everything's going good. I know Rich was saying, Rich B was saying it was looping. Of course, they're probably stuck on the other one. I should... Golden. Okay, so Rich is probably... better. Got it. All right, here we go. We're in. We're going in. We're going in. I should take that wire. That might be some decent wire. Oh, it doesn't like to do it in that orientation. I apologize. And my slide is being silly. And there's a mosquito I want to kill. Go away. I don't need you sucking my blood. Give me some virus. Look at this, huh? I feel like I'm gonna smash through here. I can't say I've ever seen that little guy. No, I can't say I've ever seen that little guy. Huh. Interesting. Automatic garage door opener system. Huh. Ohio, huh? Huh. I never seen that. Huh. Let's take a little screenshot of that. There you go. Interesting. What is this one? Just a screwdriver, right? It's just a screwdriver. I feel bad. I feel bad for the old girl taking its whip. Oh, it's got a long one, though. Oh, it's snagged. Come on. Oh, that little booger. Gotta be like that. And then this one. I don't think these were worth a pooey, in my opinion. These might be worth something. No magnets, but that was kind of I think this was a very dumb idea. Like, it just never really, and then oh, how's this one work? I thought they coiled up, like they had a coil, that's how it coiled up. Maybe it's on the inside of this one versus, you know. Obviously an old operator or photo eye bracket that doesn't have its thing on there, but does this thing got a year on it? It's a 3rd horsepower, huh? Okay. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. But that little dude is pretty cool. This guy says the chain glide sucks. They just so silly, man. I don't know. I always watched them. I thought, who the hell engineered that? I just go, that's the stupidest thing. Like, what was the sales campaign on that? What the genie. It's got the heads. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, please, door gods, don't punish me. I need good luck tomorrow. Stupid wire down there, though. Stuck. Yeah, it's still good. Got the old school look to it, that old school looking plug. Some grips on it, you know. See what the modern one looks like. It's all smooth. They probably don't give you no grips. Oh, they can give you a little grip on there, I guess. Nothing too crazy. This one, nah, I don't feel so bad. Say goodbye. Sweet. Now all I really need is a couple more. And I should be covered. What happened here? Button feels really far away, but of course it could have got smashed. Oh, there it goes. For sale. $424. It's not very old. I'm assuming it's not in here because it, I'm assuming it was in there because it went bad. Interesting. Let's see if there's any more. Not seeing nothing. Right off the top of my head here. I probably should walk down there. Got any whips? Whips? Any whips? Anybody offering whips? There's obviously one on that fan. There's a white one right there, but that's a skinny mini. One thing I have noticed on the commercial openers, and the Genie commercial openers, is that I have noticed that their holes are bigger on the sides. It's kind of weird. So, like, if you use like 3/8 for those Romax clamps, that's what I call them anyways, they, it's like they use like 3/4, and then I bought 3/4, and I started thinking, I thought, well, crap, is half more common? Maybe maybe I got the wrong ones. So, I don't know. I'm gonna try to jump out of here without busting a kneecap. Boy, I'd squeal like a little pig. Oh, I gotta step right there. I gotta step like grab. Oh, my buddy jumped over a fence, a 4-foot fence, man. He wrecked his knee bad. Just over a little 4-foot fence. What's it called? A meniscus? Is that what they call that? Wrecked his kneecap or something. That wasn't good. What's Eric got? He says, I'm bored. Oh, sucks, he says. Mode, he says. What is that? Openers, scrap metal. Track drive. I think so. It just pushes a chain back and forth. Kind of a dumb design. A couple whips for tomorrow. For commercial JLB, Sugar Crest. Where did I just leave the cutters though? Oh, I gotta walk back over there. Can't believe it. Whips are good. Let me double check where I put that cutter. I don't want to lose those. Those are good cutters. Chain. What does it say? TTM said hi. Thanks for saying hi. Chain coils in the machine. That's right. That's what I figured. It must just be, I'm used to seeing like some of them have like a black cover that chain goes up into, but they must just kind of have it hidden on this particular model. I don't know what that name. What's it? Ashleen? Is it Ashleen? She don't believe it's live. It's live, baby. It's live enough that I left my stinking cutters right there that I can't reach. Like those old Genies? I'm not gonna get that stupid thing. I really don't want to climb back in there. But sometimes I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, let me throw you down for a second. Why I struggle. Think about my life decisions. So I always tell people. Those have been around for years. Oh, put that hole there. These cutters, man, I'm telling you, I really do like these cutters. I'm gonna wash my hands. Look how dirty. Jeez. Please. Some Wayne Dalton weather seal. You know, it's funny you say that. Check the old hopper, see what's going on. We had a branch come down at the shop, landed right on the gate. Yeah, got a little bit of weather seal, but it's just clip mount stuff. Nothing, or not clip, but regular seal. Rich, I never asked you because obviously you're getting your door vendor there. But do you hand bang it? You a hand banger? I think that's the only one thing I'd say I'm probably going to steer away. Otherwise, those are great doors. Really nice doors. I'm really glad you brought them up. I really appreciate it. Ooh, for that bin, it can kind of range. It depends on obviously the weight and stuff, but it's right around like about 200-ish. You know, it's nothing fancy. Come on, Light. Thanks, Light. It's they that bin was always more of a convenience as you get busy, type of thing. My big thing is that bin, for us, we were just lucky that they didn't charge us anything. It's just free, so it can sit there for 6 months and not even have anything used. That's really great. Because that was the big thing. I told the guy, I said, when he came out, the sales guy or whoever, I just told him, I said, dude, I don't want a bill. Because we hit a threshold where we just, it's kind of weird, but you almost start looking at your guys as like they're Air Force pilots, because they're trained, they're certified, they're good at what they do. And if they get hurt, not good. You know what I mean? Not good. So I didn't want him to get hurt. Whoa. You gonna chill? Chill. So I didn't want him to get hurt. And when you go down to the scrap, it took time. Time is money. And so we got the scrap for free. There was another company that was going to charge us. It was like $200 or $400 a month just to let it sit. And I was like, no, I can't anticipate that. Like, that's just not. Now, I've heard some people, if you got property, which ain't a bad idea, and maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe you could just like throw some tarps down. One guy, the guy that passed away, was a buddy of mine. He always, he said, hey man, he goes, every year, once a year, he says, we'll do our scrap. He says, but otherwise we dump it in the field. And we dump it in the field, and then once a year we get bins. And I don't know quite how they do it. The way he made it sound was like they'll throw it, they just throw it in the field, pile it, and then I feel like he kind of waited for when scrap prices were higher and they would get a bin. They bring a bin in. The part I didn't understand is that they just kind of did it leisurely, or they stayed after hours, or they just commit. They're like, we're taking 3 days or 2 days or a day to go through and dump all the scrap. Now my problem was I just thought, I really wouldn't want all the rollers and stuff getting embedded into the dirt. And then, what if you go to cut the grass there one day and you hit it with the lawnmower? So there's ways you can do it. I mean, I used to do it with a small trailer, and then I started overloading the trailer and I broke the trailer. And then it was like, after a few times you get an angle, thrown by your face, scrap metal, when you're doing like, if you watch like Thor, I forget which one, I think it was kind of the bad movie one, that Thor one, whatever, with the axe, right? The axe one with the sword, the death sword, whatever. And they show him kind of like doing like the sword comes past him and he goes, ugh, like that. That's what it was like at the scrap metal, like watching stuff go by your face. You're like, ugh, dude, you almost hit me. And then you do it to him too. And he's like, you almost hit me. And it's like, yeah, this ain't good, man. Like we're going to lose an eye. And, you get a few flat tires. Ours was pretty good. You could run a scan thing, and you get actually money right away. So that was kind of nice. They were talking about getting rid of that. Boy, people fleed out of there. Like they were going to another place, and they ended up like putting the kibosh on that. They're like, no, 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 don't go nowhere else. We're losing customers. Like we'll give you cash. We'll give you cash. That's most of our customers, right? They want cash. So. Chain glide. Eric says, do you want me to start saving whips for you? Dude, we should have a ton. I heard one of the guys, I just don't know if he's stashing them in his van or he's like using them for some other purpose, but they're like not where they're supposed to be unless they're hiding them on me. So I might have to ask. I mean, we go through enough residential. Where is our... It used to be in this hemisphere, and the guys might have moved it because I'm not seeing the ones I did see before. That was like we had a couple that were just like super long. That you're like, I ain't gonna use that. It's like bright yellow. It's ugly. But I was looking, and I swear I was out here not too long ago, and I was like, I couldn't. It was over on this side. I seen something, and I went, oh, like that's where they're at. Like, and I don't know what they were. Oh, I think it's these. This is probably the problem because we normally will keep what do you call them? Spreader arms. Spreader arms for commercial. We normally keep them over there. They got moved over here, which is fine. I really need to go through. I should find a better way to organize. This was just a, when this building was just a shell. When I bought this building, this building was just nothing. It was just walls, ceiling. And dirt floors. And so I ended up putting the concrete, the office got put in here, ended up putting garage doors in here. This used to just be a slider. Whoops, we're getting low. Getting low on juice, it says. But no, I appreciate that. Like I said, I shouldn't need whips. They're around somewhere. I just don't know if he's stashing them or they're burning them up. I mean, they got, they're doing stuff like this all the time with the commercial stuff. So, I mean, I know they are using them. But, so we'll just have to, but obviously with those openers, see, I got two, some are getting thrown in there and they're probably, just not getting caught. It happens. End of the day, people just, don't think about it. Got to always be thinking about the next guy. That's how it works. There's a lot of stuff that goes in that scrap too. Like I never, for a long time, I never used to buy drums. You know what I mean? These are all brand new, I can tell. You know what I mean? Brand spanking new. I used to all the time have used, nicely used. I wouldn't, if they're, ugly, I get rid of them. But, I'd take those center brackets, bearings sometimes, depending on the situation, and bearing plates if they looked okay. Just pull out the genie. If you crawl back in there, that genie that won. Yeah, oh, that's right. Rich V's guy says, where's your magnet? It's at the house, son of a biscuit. I know. I need the magnet. Where's the magnet? Was that like a turbo blow off, or was that a raccoon fighting? I just heard a weird noise. Everyone mode. What's that? Tina, chat reviewer. We have classified group chat. Our scrapyard is the same way. Oh, with like them, like I think what they do is they give you they'll give you a ticket, right? And it's got a barcode on it, and then you walk up to the machine and you scan it, right? And then it'll like drop out the money for you. Feels always like a drug deal. Like that's probably why they like it. You know what I mean? Surely you have to be to work in the morning. Yes. Luckily for me, I don't require a lot of sleep. Sometimes 3 to 4 hours. That's about all I need. Evan, I'm sitting here in my robe. Ooh, freshly showered. Oh man, nothing like having a clean behind. I'll be heading to bed myself here shortly. That's what's up, man. Tony, where you been, dude? You take a nap and wake up? What's up, Mr. T? Hope you've been doing good. I'm glad you're here. I've been kind of missing you. Just been missing you a little bit. I don't know why. Mr. T, I feel like I had a question for you. I don't know. What's been new? What's going on? What you got? You been busy? Got work? Got a lot of work? Got resis? Anything ever happen with that gate operator? What's new? Holy crap, man! What we got to stay up in the late hours, man. We got CC Motion here finally. What's up, man? Jeez, a week. Where you been? Garage door service. Ooh, nice. That's right. It says you're up late, Tony. Oh, racing simulator. Ooh, man. Playing the fancy stuff. Oh, school? 24/7? Oh, man. Dang, man. That's all right. It's always good to be learning. I get it. It's busy. That's why I've been a little bit, MIA. I know how it is. It's like stuff comes in waves, right? It's like it just dumps on you. It's like when it like they say, right? When it rains, it pours. I totally get that. No, I should be looking good because at least the nice thing is this job really tomorrow is going to be like a whole new reset up. But most of the stuff's there. I got a job box at that job. Mr. Richby seen some of the pictures a while back where I put some rollers. He was recommending it, so I actually stole some off these carts. For whatever reason, Clope was like the driver, super great person, was like just gave us these carts. Like we're like, you want some carts? And we're like, yeah. And I was like, every time it's like he just didn't want to deal with them. So he's like, you want some carts? Yeah. So we got all these carts, and it was all good times. So, all right. So, clean up my mess. We got everything's good. Lock the door for the boogeyman or a boogie lady and her dog. What else? I think that's about it. Got Rusty Tony's number so I can pick his brain now. Nice. Tony's a good one. Tony's got a lot of good information. I feel like I'm missing something. Tony got here. Pick at Eric. That's right. Everybody's got good intel, man. It's one of those things. Like I always tell myself, I've told my kids, I've told family members, it's just like somebody mopping, right? I said, hey, man, don't make fun of them because they mop. That was a weird noise. I said, maybe God was telling me something. And I said, don't ever discount them. I said, because they might know how to mop the floor better than you do or how to know what chemicals to use. I said, everybody's got little clues. You know what I mean? Everybody's got little tricks. That's what I love about the game of life, because it's so true. There's just so many times like when, even I still learn in the garage door business, all these little tricks. And it's great. It's great to learn all those little tricks. And you're like, damn, man, I've been doing this for this many years. I didn't know that little trick. It's pretty sweet. Rusty. Oh, okay. So Rusty's the same. He's got 10 carts. I don't know if like Clope's got a couple guys in the back just building carts. Like, why are you guys going through so many carts? You guys breaking carts all the time. Or if it's just a nice way they don't want to damage the sections there. But I mean, I know we got a couple outside. Like I said, we got I got 2 over there, right there. And then we got a couple right here, you know, sitting there. They kind of work nice, you know, but what I think is better, I haven't really found like the better way. Maybe like Rich will be one that have come up with something, but somebody out there, you know, I think I know what you got to do. I think it's like an A-frame. Either take these carts and build like an A-frame on them. And because what the problem I run into, this is the problem I run into. This is real life. You guys are getting the bonus feature because you stayed up late night with Dave. Don't get no ideas. Anyways, you know, when you unload the truck, right, it's always a pain in the hiney because sometimes the truck is just loaded a certain way and the driver wants to unload a truck a certain way. So sometimes they'll give you the track, right? Well, if they give you the track, that's a problem because you can't put the track in the bottom and then stack the door on top. You need the sections first, and then you got to do the track, right? And that's kind of now everything's complete, right? Everything's complete. Now, the problem with this setup right here is that when you go to load this into a van or into a truck, the vans aren't so bad. But a truck, like when an extended piece, that's a real pain in the hiney because you want it kind of basically stacked the same as like this. So now you have to, this stuff has to come off. You know what I mean? The sections need to go in first. And then you got to come back and get all your, you know, all your goodies. Where I think if you had like an A-frame and you set your sections side to side, you know, sitting upright on a vertical, and then you'd have another piece of like an A-frame. You could put your track, you could put your struts. You know, if you had a little spot for the little shelf in there somewhere just to set your hardware box, because then it don't matter, right? You're unloading their truck, the vendor, and you're like, hey, man, don't be putting the track on the bottom. You know, it's like put the track up in the middle or towards the top, you know, on the rack, and then it's on its own little cart. I feel like I've seen it somewhere, and then you could wheel it around, and then it's all isolated where, but it seems like, you know how it is. There's never the really best. Because then if you get a big semi truck, sometimes which we've had, where it's like, you know, multiple doors and you stack all the doors flat, and then it's like the track just kind of goes somewhere else. But I guess if you had one of those racks, you could set all the track on there. At least that rack's all track. This rack is, you know, or just whatever, you keep one of these flat ones is all, oh, I see some heart and loves in there. It's all door sections. But what I see a lot of companies do when they got the headroom, that's what I'm always saying, go high, baby, go high, is they actually just set stuff up against the wall. Unfortunately, we don't have tall headroom here, so nothing ever really works for that. I mean, we could set track and door sections and stuff like that, but we're kind of limited here. And, you know, the guys came up with that with the back rack, you know, so that was great. I came up with the barrels, was the best I could come up with for your springs. I thought about maybe if you tipped them on their sides and stacked them like a pyramid or something, you could do something like that. But this works. It's kind of safe. You know, the barrels, you know, and then plus what I liked was the big thing with this is I like that you could see the numbers right away. So it's easy to identify, easy to reorder. But there's some stuff in here that probably it's just not getting used, you know. That, like, I got a list of store. This is a little tan door that got misordered. That should go bye-bye. We got sections up here that really just could. The problem is, you know how it is with the garage doors. Garage doors are horrible if you put them outside. You know, I've tried everything. I mean, if anybody's got any input, how to keep them. I mean, unless you put them in an enclosed trailer, a shipping container. What I'm talking more or less like is, like, what could you do to put them outside in a tarp that'll actually work, that'll keep them? Like, you almost need to like seal them up like a Ziploc bag, because for us in Michigan, we get snow and we get leaves, and the leaves are horrible. Leaves get on garage door, they stain. They are a nightmare to clean. I've cleaned a lot of garage doors from being outside, and I don't want to clean anymore, ever again. Eric says I buy Clope just for their carts. Not bad. They were very generous. I never had anybody give us carts. Not like that. What? Tony's guy says you should check out Rusty's Racks for built out those Clope dollies. Really? Guy in pictures, Tony? Come on, man. Share them. How'd you find them? He just sent them to you? I don't think we got Rusty on tonight. I haven't seen him. I think he must be busy or something. No. Carpenter, he says, do you have an inventory tracking system? No. Not a very good one. It's kind of like we know roughly through like QuickBooks and stuff, but I tell you what, if anybody comes across something, the problem is when you do inventory, it takes like you almost got to hire another person, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But if somebody's got a really smooth, slick, but that's the worst thing about the garage door business, you know what I mean, is the inventory. You know what I mean? There's a really not a super duper great way. I mean, I've thought about where it's like you set the trucks up, but there's ways that stuff kind of gets missed, sometimes deliberately and then sometimes undeliberately. Whoops, sorry. I didn't see it paused for a second. I got to jump in the truck in a minute to get some power on the phone. But if anybody's got anything they use for inventory or got a good idea, man, email me, and if it's good enough or something, heck, man, I'll throw you a few bucks. I don't care. I've looked, and when it comes to either like, you almost got to like either do like a barcode system, and then it's like the problem is then it's almost like you got to pull one of the secretaries to come back here and be working here. Could probably have one of the kiddos do it. They're getting pretty smart now, but it's like, so then you got to label it. As far as I know, you got to put it in the system, and then when it gets pulled out of the system, you got to either have a barcode here that, and then how is it going to be recognized that it goes to that job? If they barcode it out, or even that QR label stuff. Ooh, the carport. That's not a bad idea. You can buy those pretty relatively. It's not too bad. I was actually always going to buy a carport years ago. I've kind of forgot about it now. I was actually going to buy one, buy a couple actually for the service vans, so they didn't have to be out in the snow. And then what I was going to do is I was going to make it. That's when I started finding out what the township all does, but and they complain about everything. So, oh sweet, the 8-footer's here. I was looking for that the other day. It's right there. 8-footer van. They come in so handy. But I don't like this piece of ankle sitting here. Looks like a death trap. I'm gonna lose my train of thought. So I was gonna buy those carports. Set that there. Stay. Those carports, and then what I wanted to do is have like them being partially surrounded. And then what my idea was I always wanted them to have like their own, like these ladders, not this Widowmaker that came with the shop, but the wood one, but like their 8-footer, a 12-footer, their extension pull out. So for a couple reasons, right? The carports, for one, keeps the sun rays off those ladders, because we got a lot of ladders right now. We could probably replace some ladders. They're getting that fiberglass where they're starting to be itchy. But that way they're in there and they're tucked in. I could probably get away with it now since we've been here long enough. And we're kind of, everything's covered, with gates and stuff. But have it so that the carports, and then what you could do is they could have their ladders in there, could have maybe like a toolbox in there, like a job box. But everything is like that's your locker. You know what I mean? Like your ladder stay in there. Anything that's particular to that van stays in there to a certain degree. Like that all is your area. But the carport thing is not a bad idea. Never thought about that, because I'm trying to think of like, see, for us, it's like, our township is, they don't like if you enclose it, probably like if you enclose 3 walls, they're going to consider that, a garage, and then you're going to get in trouble. We could probably stretch it, in certain areas. But sometimes those carports, the price of them, like thinking about it, it's just like shouldn't you just go like an enclosed trailer, for the price of them? You're like, then it's on wheels, and then you can resell it easily, where the carports always seem like they wanted me to sell some out in the corner. And then I think I figured out what their gimmick was. Their gimmick is like, they act like they're your best friend. They're like, oh, can you, you could buy these carports and we could sell them and we'll give you a cut, which I don't know exactly how they word it. I wasn't here when the secretary was, but, what the deal is honestly is actually you, from what I understand, you buy the carports and then you put them out, right? They might give you some advertising, some banners or something, but then it's, you bought them. You know what I mean? So they win, right? They already got them sold to you, and then you're trying to sell them on your you know what I'm saying? So then when you sell them, you know, yeah, you can charge, you make $100 or whatever, but then it's like I always wonder, like, what do they do for shipping and stuff like that? So, you know, how do they deliver them? And then, you know, how it is. These things have been sitting here for 6 months to a year. They're getting faded. You know, you get somebody out here and they're like, well, I've been living around here for a couple of years, and I've noticed you got these sitting here, you know, and I really don't want this one because this one's all faded. So, you know, unless you're going to give it to me to a really good discount, and you're like, dude, I'm only making like $100 off it. You know, like, I mean, you know, it's been sitting here because there's a guy down the road that does it, and good night, Jeannie. Make my wishes come true. And I just remember the dude parks his truck in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, he's like, screw it. I'm never going to sell this thing. He's like, I'm just going to park my truck under it. Maybe one day somebody will come and be like, do you sell carports? Yeah. You want one? So that's just my theory. I don't know for sure. But the carport's not bad, dude. But like I said, I just think you just go with a enclosed trailer or something. You know, they don't cry about that. You can't have semi-trailers. Those are a no-no. Those are a no-no. Spin this around, see if we get some juicy. I don't think PT ever told me, how's the business? What's the business like? Has it been busy? Has it been slow? Anything new to report? I'm hoping maybe he gets an evicted door and come down here maybe another month or two. Things are starting to catch up a little bit, so I think I got all the big jobs. Says just build a giant pole barn behind the building. Oh, it's just so easy, right? Carport, yeah, I'll send them to you. Sweet. Ooh. Out your way lately. Oh, so I guess in that last storm we did have, I think there was 5 confirmed tornadoes. They're very small. It seems like when we get them in Michigan, they don't last very long, but we did get a few. So we did have a few trees. I think the last storm, mom always gets hit hard. Her place is always, you know, and it was of course weird. The storm comes through, you know, that night or whatever. The next day, they lose power at like 9 o'clock in the morning for, like, you know, wind conditions. Everything's good, but you know, it could have been a loose tree limb or something by that time. You know, it finally fell out of a tree. It's hard to say, but yeah, for the most part, nothing too crazy. How about your way? Anything crazy? Just thunderstorms and wind. I get nervous, man. We get a lot of those inline winds nowadays. And we get, man, the storms just seem like they're more violent than I remember when I was a kid. Maybe I just didn't see it or hear it with the news, but man, nowadays it's like it's gotten stronger. Like all the time, those inline winds. I only seen inline winds once. It seemed like many years ago, and man, it did some destruction. And then it's like now it seems like it's almost like all the time. Inline winds, inline winds. It's like, holy crap, man. It's done some destruction. Knocks trees over. Makes me not want to have trees around. I like my shade trees, but the damage they do, and then trying to deal with insurance companies nowadays just seems like absolute chaos. Thunderstorms. Ray said hi. What's up, Ray? Hope we're doing great. Thanks for being here. What's that? It says UV breakdown on the fiberglass is terrible. Ooh. Yeah, is there anything to remedy it, Rich? Is there anything like you can protect it with, or at least I don't know. I just know Cap. I took actually a ladder's still sitting out here by the fence. He told me, he said, hey, he goes, you can, you know, I'll get this one ladder. We had to do a little tear down, and that'll be on another video eventually. Stay tuned. And he just said, he goes, man, he goes, make sure you wear gloves. He says the fiberglass. And I was like, man, that's a bummer. You know, that was something I always told myself, that I was always going to be, you know, we'll never have to buy ladders. I'll just take them off the truck. You ain't got time when you start, you know, you get bigger and busy and stuff. But if they're in carports, they probably get saved a little bit because what did you have? 3 days? These things are out cooking in the sun. You know, they're not producing, not moving around. It's like the old Genie commercial, and you left the light on. How about shipping containers? Ooh, Eric's got the shipping containers. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit, you know. Can't have shipping containers here. Not in commercial. You can if you're industrial, at least in my neck of the woods. That's why it's as a as a young man, there's a lot of things. I was talking to Mr. Caleb, and he was telling me about somebody with some land, and it's when you're young, there's just so many things you don't know. That's what I'm always talking about. You kind of get neutered as you get older. That it's like the world is like you're like a you're like a young puppy, right? You find any leg to hump, you know what I mean? You're just going at it like a rabbit. And I told him, I said, you don't even know what this land is zoned. I said, and I said every township has their own little quirks and stuff, and and I mean I remember like back even just being young buying this place, oh my gosh, I'll do this, and it's like they start cutting you at the knees, nope, you can't do that, you can't do this. What do you mean I can't do this? I own the property, you know. We redid the driveway on a weekend or something. I remember we had DOT stop here, and they were, getting after me. I can't be pushing dirt in the ditches, which I wasn't. I mean, I was the way it was dug out, it looked like I was putting in a gas station. Out here with a skid steer, just keep, digging down to bring in more fill, more rocks, because all the semi trucks that would sink out here. It was never ending. Tony says, we've been busy. Good, good, good. It says affordable, not discount. What does it say? I said I paint graffiti and chase tornadoes. Not sure how I ended up here, but I'm happy to be here. That's cool. That's cool. It'd be cool to see graffiti, huh? That graffiti, man, that's crazy. Do it like on, what do you do it on? Do you do it like bricks? Or is it on the buildings and stuff? Or is it like on like trains, or just anywhere you can, or you get paid for it or anything? Chase tornadoes, man. That's like, I wish I had that Dodge truck from that Twister. Was it Twister, the movie? Man, I remember when those trucks came out. That was a beautiful truck. They rot out so fast. Oh. It says you could have a twin in Battle Creek. Could swore it was. Oh, no way. No way. In Battle Creek? Oh no, man. That's my clone. How'd they get it? How'd they get my DNA? God darn it. I could see Tony over there like grabbing the guy by the shoulders. Dave. He was looking at him. The hell's your problem, dude? Dave, it's me. Ooh, just wrap them with duct tape. I tried buying I don't know if it was for the garage doors. No, I was buying it for the weather seal. I ended up starting to wrap our own weather seal. So I bought what the heck is that? Like when you see a falling star, but it looks like it's coming off a light pole. Like, is that like fire or just a big bug? Huh, that was weird. No, there's two of them now. What the hell is that? It's almost like the size of maybe it's a bat. It's just flying by the light. It's catching my eye. That's crazy. It's big. It looks like big drops of lava. Maybe I'll have to show you guys. It's some crazy looking. Wow, I'm losing my mind. Weird things happen around here at midnight. Should have swore wrap them duct tape. I wonder if you could like, if you could buy some good stuff from like was it Uniline or whatever? That company always sells me the books. Buy some good plastic and wrap them up. You might be all right, But man, I tell you what, if you tarp them, tarps don't last. Tarps get in there, the stuff that like saturates, especially if you get leaves, especially because we got trees here. Ugh, man, that stuff's nasty. This is already sparking up. Could be. John, what's up, John? Just as hi. Yeah, it says you can't have a shipping container. That's stupid. It would be cool to put a few shipping containers back with your logos on it. Heck yeah, I agree. The one neighbor guy, but his are grandfathered in, and he's a really cool dude. So I mean, he probably wouldn't care, and I could probably really block it off if I wanted to. So we probably should figure out something that way if things, but like I said, right now things have not been super crazy. It's just, I mean, you see the shop's pretty much cleaned out. I mean, it's in good shape. I ain't gonna complain. I kind of like it that way, but also, it's nice to see it when it's booked and things are going too. But that seems like one there's a lot of hiccups too. Containers. Flat panel freight trains are my favorite. Ooh, the flat panel. Man, that stuff takes some artwork, I tell you, man. Some of that stuff you see, you're like, the graffiti, you're always kind of like, dang, man. Like, I'm sure somebody's not really happy about it, but it's like, man, it looks good. It's like you got to turn into, oh gosh, what's that one girl? There's a girl in Detroit, and she does air paint. She does it for on like glass. You got to get something like that going. You know what I mean? Where you paint it for this. She does like a lot of like grocery stores or I think more convenience stores. Misfit, I don't know, but she's really talented in her stuff, her sprays and stuff. And she makes a living out of it. It's pretty cool. Or you could just to paint the shipping container. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the government, man. I tell you, that's the thing. So sometimes, man, you could be, I really think a lot of times, if you're thinking about ever scouting for a house or something, buy it out in the woods. You know what I mean? Out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? If you can get away, so you don't really have neighbors right on top of you. That's the way to do it because that way if you ever got to do something to it, siding, whatever, you know what I mean, they're just not right there hovering over you, and you got your neighbors calling, squealing on you. Hopefully you got decent neighbors because they'll still hear things and stuff and they kind of know, but if they're just good people. But it seems like if you're in those really condensed areas, man, they see everything, right? You can't even go around the back of your house and take a pee without somebody seeing you and calling the cops on you. Like he says we always think about each other. Ooh, nice privacy fence front so they can't see the back. Yeah, I could put some more slats in, and honestly on the field I really been thinking about it, right? Because they never complain, they never get you for vegetation, right? For the trees or bushes, right? They don't tax you on that, but when you do the fencing, that's an improvement. There's all kinds of stuff they get you on, you know what I mean? So you got to kind of play your cards, but that stuff takes time too. You got to wait for stuff to kind of grow, but we do have enough coverage in a sense. There is some things I could do, and since we own the property behind, I could blow out the fence if I wanted to build like a driveway, and there is enough woods. Basically, it would basically paint it camouflage, and you'd probably be fine. But that's why it's also but they're they're kind of big and bulky to move, and then so it's like, why don't you just do a shipping or not a shipping, but do a enclosed trailer, and that way you can resell it down the road. But of course, the tires are gonna go, they're gonna rot on it and stuff like that. And sometimes you got to be careful. These shipping containers, they do get moisture. If you don't elevate them and get them ventilated right, they can get a lot of moisture built up in them. What is it? Is it Lou? Lou says hi. Is it Audrey? Oh, I can say hi to Audrey. I don't see Audrey. Why isn't Audrey here? Chatting with you guys. Stay safe out there. Same to you, man. Just be good. All right, guys. Should we wrap it up? We should wrap it up. It's midnight. I need a couple hours of sleep. It's got some driving, a lot of driving to do. So it's not gonna be fun. So, you know, doing my long distance loser tomorrow. You know, well, like I said, we're still in the positive, but that traveling, I tell you, that's how it goes. Yep, I'm going to bed, Eric says. Thanks for being here, Rich B. And Eric and Tony, if Tony's still on. Hope Tony's doing good, like I said. All that good stuff. Stay Clever was good. That was good. Tony's on. I'm just going through. We had a Tank and more said hi. I don't know if I said hi to Tank. CC Motion, that's right. That's right. I don't know if he's still on. He said he's been busy. School, man. That's all right. Y'all just keep hustling. That's all we can do, right? We got to go out there and try to make baby money. And just remember to, while you're making baby money, keep those fingers because they don't grow back. And the government's not going to attach them for free. So we'll see you guys. Have a good night. Have a good week. All that good stuff. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here.